I'm going to teach you today will help you to break the barriers of your income level. Remember that there are generally 8 different income levels. Every single person in the world, all 8 billion of us, from the rich to the poor, men, women, children, everyone belongs to to one of these 8 income circles. And it's very interesting because every income circle has its own unique psychological behaviors. So people who tend to be in one income circle, regardless of where they live in the world or where they are, they behave in a similar way. The other thing that we find interesting is that people tend to remain at that income circle literally for the rest of their lives unless something that is pattern interrupting happens. So people tend to settle around these comfort income circles. All right, just give me a second. Let's make sure that nobody interrupts this. Okay, so and I want to remind us of those income circles again, but see them not so much the amount of money as beliefs, because when you actually come down to it, money is essentially a belief when you come down to it. So these are actually belief boundaries, because when you think about it, the person who makes $100,000 a month is not different from the person who makes $500,000 a month. The only difference is what they believe, what they see, and what they choose. Because if anyone in the world has made $1 million a month, a year, it means that anybody can do it. It means that it is not impossible. Like my mentor used to say, if it's been done before by someone, then it means it's not impossible. And the only thing that separates us in these income levels is our beliefs. And then sometimes people do not see themselves, very highly qualified people. You have master's degree, you have 10, 15, 20 years experience as an engineer, as a surveyor, as an explorer, but you are broke. You have worked for 30 years as an IT specialist, but you're broke. So the difference between you and the same person in the same career, in the same county, in the same city is belief. And often it's as simple as one person just believing that he or she can do it, and then the other person not seeing the possibility that they can do it. I want to prove this to you because I remember many years ago when I started teaching MBA at the Lagos Business School. I didn't have MBA myself. I still don't have MBA. But when I faced that big class for the first time of people who were dressed in very expensive suits, far more expensive than my own, people who had big titles, general managers, CEOs, big people in the banks, and I was facing them in that class. You see, that imposter syndrome came up and said, look at you, you want to go teach MBA class, but you don't have MBA yourself. For many of us, just not even believing that we are good enough is the major barrier to breaking wealth, breaking through your poverty to wealth. I am telling you, I've coached people for decades. Many times, it's not lack of talent, it's not lack of ability, it is just belief. People don't believe that they are good enough. They believe that their former classmate in school can do it, but not them. But you all sat under the same lecturers, under the same lecture, under everything. So what is the difference? What is the difference in belief? So when I mention these circles, I need you to see why I call them psychofinancial borders, psychofinancial boundaries. The first boundary is the $10,000 boundary. This is where, interestingly, billions of people around the world fall. Billions of people around the world, and literally billions of people in emerging markets in the so-called developing countries fall under this 10K, and it is a survival circle. That's really where the poorest of the poor people in the world live. And it is called the hustle zone. The next psychofinancial boundary, the next income circle is the $10,000 circle. So what happens with the $10,000 circle is that once people break the $10,000 barrier, it is amazing. It is amazing. They naturally start growing toward $100,000, even without knowing it. But breaking that $10,000 barrier is a big one for so many people. And that is literally where you jump out of poverty. Once you break that barrier and you start earning $10,000, the next level of growth is the $100,000. And that is where so many small businesses play. Many small businesses that approach me for help make very little income. In this part of the world, in Africa, for instance, you're seeing businesses in 1 year making $20,000. Most businesses, actually, most small businesses, even in Nigeria, don't make more than $20,000 a year. I know, because when people apply for certain programs and then they put their financials there, I'm seeing $7,000. I'm seeing companies doing $20,000, because the $20,000 is already 30 million in Nigerian currency. And how many businesses make 30 million? So it's a hustle boundary. But the moment you cross that, you cross that $10,000 barrier, the next aspirational income circle for you is the stability circle, which is $100,000. That is where you begin to see stability. But there's a problem with that trap, because I've been there myself. There's a problem. That's really where you have the so-called middle class trap, because the trap of the $100,000 barrier is exchanging time for money, trading skills, trading time for money. It's a trap that also many people do not cross. Now, and I'm going to tell you, because I'm actually targeting this for people who are in the stability circle, the $100,000 barrier. So many of you live in the United States, in the UK, some of you in Africa, some of you in Asia. And by the way, we usually have fun when you join. Just tell us what country that you are joining us from. Okay, so to break the $100,000 barrier is what we are going to do tonight. I'm going to show you a formula to be able to do that. Now, after the $100,000 barrier, it looks to me like the very next one is $250,000. That's $250,000. And when you get into this income boundary, it is the skill circle. It's called the skill circle. And this is where high income skill exchange happens. In other words, I'm already giving you some tips that to cross the $100,000 barrier into the 250, which is the $250,000, you are definitely going to need high income skill. Trading time for money will not do it for you. Then when you break the $250,000 barrier, the very next stage is $500,000 barrier. That is the $500,000. So you've left the quarter, you are now going to the $500,000. And at $500,000, it's called the systems circle, or the system circle, where you no longer earn money from, just randomly from trading time for money or from high income exchange. But now what you have earning money for you is systems. In the Financial Fitness Challenge, I emphasize systems. Many of us in the later half of our lives are struggling with money because for over 40 years, many of us are over 40. Some of us are in our 50s. And in all these 40, 50 years of our lives, we've never built a system for making money, managing money, and multiplying money. We've never had a system to be able to do that. So I emphasize that in your 40s, in your 50s, and 60s, focus on building systems, not on building business. So the $500,000 is the systems circle. This is where you develop a team. This is where you develop standard operating procedures. This is where, if you own a business, you write out processes, like I'm doing with one of my private clients right now. We're writing all the processes in her business. When we finish that, we will now go to the next step. The next step is systemizing your business, which is now, by the time you've developed all the SOPs, and by the time you've written out all the processes from procurement all the way to sales, to collecting payments, to banking it, the accounting processes, the operational processes, the production processes, all those written down. The next stage is to do organizational structure design. An organizational structure is going to say who owns all these processes. Because if you are the Alpha and Omega, the one-man show business, then you are the one owning all the processes. You are the one finding the business, having all the meetings with clients. You are the one delivering. You are the one making the presentations. You are the one banking. When you travel, money can't get spent if a contractor comes into the business, because you are out there, and then certain things need your signature. Nobody else can do that. You cannot scale. You cannot get into the $500,000 boundary if you don't have systems. Now, after the 500, the next one, which is where I'm encouraging all of us, because that is where I am, encouraging everybody to, whether you are already in the 500 or 200 or 100 or 10,000, let your key aspiration be that $1 million circle, which we call the scale circle. And I call it scale circle because truly, if you know what you're doing, after $1 million in your life, you should never fall again. If you know what you're doing. And even if something happens, maybe natural disaster or something happens, and then you fall from that $1 million to zero. Remember, there's good news. Remember, you already know what it means to be in stability circle. You've already built high income exchange at the $250,000. You've already known how to develop systems. And I tell you, even if you fall from the 1 million, it's very difficult. But even if you fall, because you have all those things, you have all the knowledge of systems, all the knowledge of high income skills, you have all the knowledge of stability at the $100,000 level, you will rebuild it again in no time. So all of us should be aiming for the $1 million psychofinancial boundary. That is what we call the scale circle. And then, of course, after that, you are jumping into 10 million. That's the capital circle, wealth accumulation and investments. And you begin to play with the big boys. Okay? If you want to play with the big boys, type big boy in the comment section. Believe me, we need to be inspired. We need to aspire to these boundaries, because if we don't have aspiration and we don't have the desire to grow so that we'll be more impactful, and so that we will be more we will lead more significant and impactful lives for our communities, for our continent, for the world, you should aspire to be able to explore the wealth inside you and to manifest it. So you want to play with the big boys. I want to play with the big boys too. The big boys don't make a lot of noise. And then something about the big boys, they control the policies. By the time you are in 100 million, which is the capital circle, these people quietly control the systems that you operate in. They control the policies in education, your children's education. They control the policies around health. Some of you remember what the billionaires did during the pandemic a couple of years ago. It was billionaires. All of a sudden, the billionaires became the medical doctors. It's because of the influence that you start wielding. At $100 million, you wield a lot of influence. For good. Hopefully for good. Because if you are a bad person, $100 million in your hands is extremely dangerous. Even 10 million in your hands is extremely dangerous. You see, but there's nothing wrong with money. But what we now know is that money takes the personality, the behaviors, and the characteristics of the person who has them. If an evil person has money, he will use it for evil. If a good person makes a lot of money, he will use it for good. And I'm saying this because there are so many of us listening to me who say, I'm afraid of making too much money because it's going to make me a bad person. Money won't make you a bad person. If you're already a bad person, money will help you to become a really, really bad person. And if you're really a kind person, kind-hearted person, money will make you even 1,000 times, 10,000 times kinder. There's a legendary NBA star. I see he has a TikTok page, and then this guy walks up into a store, a massive supermarket or something, and sees a little boy in there with his mom, single mother, struggling to buy things. And the guy goes, tells the little boy, "What do you want? You want a bicycle?" And then he goes, he buys bicycle. The mother, "What do you want?" He fills their cart and pays. And he says he does this 3 times a week. That's why, if you're a good person, you need to aspire to grow your wealth, to play with the big boys, so that you can counter the forces of wrong, people who are using the money for wrong things. And there are so many of them using the money to take advantage of the poor and to do wrong things. So the $100 million income boundary is the nation cycle, and then after 100 million, the next aspiration is the big B, the 1B. At that time, you are not playing with the big boys. You are playing with the legendary boys. All right. So some of us want to play with legends. You are playing with legends. You are not playing with big boys. You are playing with legends. If you enter a country, everybody feels it, and especially for us for good. Okay. So tell me, which income boundary are you? Which of the income circles are you? There is the 10,000, 100,000, 250K, 500K, 1 million K, 10 million K, 10 million, 100 million, and 1B. What income circle are you? So tell me your income circle, and then also mention the country that you are joining us from. All right, so let's go. Let's interact a little bit. This is live. Okay, yes, and playing with legends. I want to play with legends. Okay, and it's okay to play with the big boys, but I want to play with legends because I want to change lives. I want to change the face of politics, the face of wealth in this continent. Okay. Sherry Ash says, "I look like the former president of Ghana." I cannot remember his name. I've never heard that before. I look like a lot of people. Okay, thank you. I think you're probably talking about, is it John Mahama? I don't know if I look like him or he looks like me. All right. Nicholas Opoku is watching from Equatorial Guinea. Florence Shaw Dedeji is watching from Nigeria. And so is Mrs. George. My favorite Mrs. George is watching from Nigeria. Okay, good. All right. Okay, where is your boundary? Charles Bolambo says, legendary boys, level playing. I want in future soon. Absolutely. I say amen to that. Yes, BJ Heaven, you are very, very correct. He says, I think the NBA star you talked about is Shaquille O'Neal. I don't know about you. I don't know how many people know Shaquille O'Neal. And if you really like him, for some reason, I just like that big guy. I just like him. He's got such a fantastic sense of humor and he's kind. He said 3 times every week he goes out there in the neighborhood everywhere just looking for people's lives to change. Just because, I mean, he has the money. He has much more than he will ever need. Who else likes Shaq? I do. I like Shaq a lot. Okay, thanks, BJ Heaven. Kellison Concept is watching from Lagos. Tani Form Bliss is from Cameroon. Jackson Charles is watching from Nairobi. All right. 0.5 Kenyan shillings. How much is that in the dollar? Paul is watching from the UK. Victoria from Nigeria. And yes, that's him. Oduak is watching from Nigeria. Awesome. Okay. So these are those different levels. But you should not stay on that same level for 10, 20, 30 years. You shouldn't be stuck in that middle class trap. It's a trap because you work more to make more. When you are trapped in that 100K, between that 10K dollars and then 100,000, you are stuck. And you actually get taxed more. But that's going to be another session. And I'll tell you how my accountant, who also happens to also be an auditor and a tax consultant, helped save me millions and millions of naira, in the way that my business is structured. Okay, so in that trap, that middle class trap, you buy more in order to feel good. But at the same time, you're buying more, you're feeling good. You see, people trapped there. It's very easy to know people who are trapped in that 100,000. It looks like a lot of money. They're the ones who buy these very flashy cars to impress their neighbors. They are the ones, who live in big rented houses, not their own. They're the ones who take pictures at private jets and all that to show us, But the big boys don't need to impress you, and the legends don't need to impress you. 3 times I have been in one event with Dangote sitting face to face. If both of us, we didn't talk, but we sat, incidentally, one of the last times that we met was in a very, very solemn situation. So he was sitting across me and my wife in that same room. If you see this man and they tell you that he's Dangote, you will not believe. Extremely humble, dressed very simple and very, very noiseless. Dangote sat the whole time. And if he's listening to this and I tell him that place that we met, he will tell you. But it was a very sorrowful meeting. It was a very sorrowful meeting. So, but when you look at it, people came in, boisterous, some politicians came in, all the big names you know. They all came in that day. Governors, they all came into that same place. Dangote was sitting just like a very insignificant little teenage boy in one corner, dressed so simply. And then my wife was like, that's Dangote. I said, oh yeah, that's him. They don't make noise. The legends don't make noise. But these people who earn $100,000 and below, we can't hear word for them, like we say in Nigeria. They are so loud. And they buy big cars, expensive cars, and they buy it on credit. They're paying through their nose every month. Why do you people do that? Why do you middle class people do that? Who are you trying to impress? To what purpose? To what purpose? You should build your wealth quietly. So, in that trap, you buy more to feel better, but you also owe more. You earn more, but your lifestyle is always... your lifestyle always expands to swallow what you're earning. It also happened to me because I was there. People in that group cannibalize their capital so much. You are doing 9 to 5, you're earning very large amounts of money every single month. Some of you listening here earn as much as $10,000 every single month. But guess what? You cannibalize it. But can you imagine if out of that $10,000 you invest $3,000 every month for the next 5 years? You will never lack money for the rest of your life. All right, Betty says, she's watching from Delta State. Adachi says, thanks for your teaching. I am watching from USA. You're welcome, Adachi. Daniel is joining us from Malawi. Divine Mouse is joining us from Germany. I like your name, Divine Mouse. Okay, I hope I pronounced it well. Peggy is watching from St. Lucia. Amazing. Fidelia is watching from Vienna, Austria. Absolutely. Okay. Thanks for the teaching, but the side talks are too much. Oh, Amadi, I'm not sure where the side talks. There are no side talks here, but what's actually happening is there is a heavy rainfall hitting my roof. Maybe that's what you're hearing. Please, can you all confirm if you hear me okay? Or is it really too noisy? There's a heavy rain actually going on, and it's hitting my roof. That's also why I'm trying to shout. But can you hear me okay? So it's not side talk. It is the rain. It's the rain. Can you all hear me okay? Yeah, just give me thumbs up if you can hear me okay despite the rain. Okay, Monica is watching from Saudi Arabia. All right. Excellent. Excellent. All right. Thank you. You can hear me? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. It's raining. It's been raining for the past couple of hours. In fact, we don't have electricity at all because usually when it rains heavily like this, they cut power. Now, so that is the thing about the middle class. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for the confirmation that you can hear me. Okay. But the most dangerous thing about the middle class trap is you feel safe and so you stop dreaming. I felt safe when I was earning that amount of over $100,000 at that time, working for multinational. So every summer I would take my wife and my children. We'll go to Europe or we'll go to the US for summer. You know, I will travel. I just decided to travel to Canada. And I will rent a car in New York and drive up all the way to Canada, drive back, you know, feeling cool. I was cannibalizing capital. In fact, a major financial sin for people in the 100K boundary is capital cannibalization. That's what I call it. That's my terminology for it, capital cannibalization. Type it in the comment section. And then, if you are currently cannibalizing your capital the way I've described, you're using your capital to go on expensive vacations. You're using your capital to buy expensive cars. You're using your capital to go on expensive dates when you don't have assets yet. Type in the comment section. I want you to confess. Type, I'm a capital cannibal. Confess in the comment section. Confess if you're a capital cannibal. If you have been spending your salary on consumables, on cars, on clothes and looking good, but you're not spending it to buy assets. You're not spending it to buy real estate. You're not spending it to buy stocks for your future. Just confess. Just say, I'm a capital cannibal. All right? Be safe. Feel safe. Feel safe. Feel safe to say that. All right. Yes, Njideka says capital cannibalization. So the worst thing about capital cannibalization is that you will regret it later because it happened to me. I cannibalized capital. I was a capital cannibal. When I was working with Shell and Chevron, I was a capital cannibal. You know what a cannibal does? You know, I was eating my future. You know, just spending it anyhow. But you see, what wise people do is they take their capital, which is active income, and then they change it. They transmute it. They transform it into passive income. And then they use the proceeds from that passive income. They use the proceeds from that passive income to fund the holiday. Something happened this evening. I got a dividend. For some reason, my Zenith Bank dividend had been paid for a while, but I didn't get mine. And I was expecting a fat dividend. And I had to contact the registrar. And it's like, what's going on? So they looked through their records and whatever. And this evening, before this time, they paid that dividend. Now, that, what they paid, I can use it to afford a flight. I can use it to afford a ticket. If I want, there's a particular beach I like very much in a certain country in West Africa. But when I got that dividend, that's not what came to mind because I don't want to repeat my mistake. That dividend was enough to buy me a return ticket to my famous beach. If it was in the days of my capital cannibalization, I would have, as soon as that dividend came, I would have bought it. You know? So, but what did I do? I immediately transferred it to my investment account, and tomorrow I'm going to buy more Zenith Bank. Tomorrow I'm going to buy more Zenith Bank using my dividend reinvestment. I didn't have this wisdom before. I learned it the hard way. So no more capital cannibalization. Everybody type that in the comment section. No more capital cannibalization. Type it. No more capital cannibalization. So I want to read that. Yes, Paul, you were a capital cannibal. Paul says, until I came across Coach Obo. Yeah. All right, Mrs. George, a capital cannibal. But after this evening, you will never be again. You will never be again. So one of the biggest behavioral challenges for people within this income group that I'm talking about. I will tell you how to break it, but we have to deal with the behavior first. One of the biggest behavioral problems is lack of delayed gratification. People in this income circle find it very, very difficult to delay gratification. But can I break the news to you? You cannot become rich if you do not practice delayed gratification. You cannot become rich. It doesn't matter how old you are, whether you're 59 like me or you are 20. If you do not practice delayed gratification, you can never be rich. Period. So, the problem with people in this income boundary is that they can't delay gratification. iPhone 17 comes out. I don't know whether it has already come out or it's come out, because I used iPhone 6 for so long that people started becoming ashamed on my behalf. I used iPhone 6 for a long time, but I was using iPhone 6 by the time iPhone 13 or something came out. So people who knew me, people around me became ashamed on my behalf. But I didn't need it. It was making my calls. It was running my messages. What did I need to buy to impress? So I currently have iPhone 11, but they literally had to, no, not literally. I was about to say that he literally put a gun to my head, but it was almost that, metaphorically speaking, for me to buy that. I can delay the gratification. Why in the world, should I buy iPhone 16 from my capital? At some point, the dividend should buy it. And in fact, the other thing I want to teach you, I'm already teaching you how to come out of that level. Before I buy any gadget or any device, I want to see exactly how the money will come back. At least the money should come back within 1 to 6 months. So if I buy a very expensive laptop, like the one I'm using, it cost me almost $4,000. I'm using 1 terabyte. I'm using 16 or 32 gig RAM. If you have a MacBook, you know what I'm talking about. I had to sit down to say, how will this thing come back? How will I make this money back within 1 to 6 months? If I don't see how that money is going to come back by buying that iPhone 16, I won't buy it. This iPhone 13, I bought it secondhand from someone who bought it. I was in the United States at the time, and somebody bought it from Facebook Marketplace, and I bought it from him. $400. It wasn't even the full amount, because why should I spend $1,500? Some young Nigerians are spending 2.5 million on phone just to carry it around and show people that they are carrying iPhone 6. If I ever meet you on the road, you are 25 or 30, and you don't have assets in the stock market worth 300 million, and I see you with iPhone 16, I will publicly flog you. Take that from me. I will publicly flog you. It's a promise. What are you doing with 2.5 million phone, for goodness sake? Just going around showing your friends that you have a very expensive phone. So that is one reason why many people never escape that income barrier, because they do not know how to delay gratification. The gratification is coming. It's coming. One day you will see me in the private jets. I mean, it's not that I don't like those things, but it's not now. It's not now. At that time, my asset will be paying for that while I'm sleeping. But now, how can I take my capital and go and start flying private jet and go and start flying first class? For what? Who am I trying to impress? Just to feel good with myself? People are feeling good, but they are poor. They make themselves poor feeling good. Okay, so the real hack to coming out of that income barrier, to breaking your income ceiling, is not to work more, but it is to use leverage. So yesterday I taught you about going from labor to leverage. The secret is not in labor, it's in leverage. Because when you attain certain level in your career, all of you listening to me who are 9 to 5, and then you are in your 40s or 50s, you can confirm, at a certain level, the more money you earn from your work, the poorer you become. I tell you what people won't tell you. At certain points in your life, you start having the law of economic diminishing returns. The more money you earn, the poorer you become. Because it's not only that inflation is destroying it, but at your income level, you're paying. That's when you're paying college fees, school fees for your children. That's when you and your landlord are having stalemate, because at that time you don't have your house. Many of you don't have your house. You're still renting, and then the rent goes up every day. The other day I saw people carrying placards to protest against rent in their, because like rent, all of a sudden someone rang a bell and rent started hitting the roof, literally around the country. Okay, so it's not labor, it's leverage. Because when you start working, if you continue to do labor, you will hit diminishing returns. And then the harder you work, the poorer you become. Look around you. A lot of people who are poor in their 50s, because I'm there, people in their 50s who didn't order their financial future when they were in their 30s and 40s, they are working, pardon me for the French, working their asses off. If you're 60 here, confirm, don't let it look like I'm just, people in their 40s and 50s are working like mad people. They're working like mad people. And I come to the United States and I see some of you, our fellow, Africans over there. You are working 2-3 jobs and it's still not enough. So I visited a guy in Houston. He is a nurse. The wife is a nurse. The man had like 3 jobs. He hardly spent up to 4 hours a day in the house. He's jumping from one to the other one. Then he has some elderly people he cares for. He goes there. My goodness, is that life? Is that in your 40s and 50s? Therefore, that is definitely not the way. More hard work, more labor is not the way. It is leverage. Also, everybody type leverage. So if you are in your 40s, in your 50s, in your 60s, please fall in love with that word leverage, not labor. You've done enough labor in your life now. Some of you have worked for 40 years of your lives. You've worked for 30 years. My goodness. Exchanging time for money. Some of you have worked 30 years. Every day you wake up. You wake up to go to work. Every day of your life. My goodness. And you've done it for 30 years. And if it hasn't made you rich in 30 years, how in the world is it going to make you rich in another 30 years by the time you're 80 years old? Okay? So the key word is leverage. Let me break it down. So there's what I call the 1 hour rule. If you can find just 1 hour a day before work, lunch break, or before you go to bed, you can start doing what the top 1% do. What do? They build once and they get paid forever. I plead with you. Pay attention. Just on, even if this is all you get from tonight, I don't want you to miss it. Because this thing changed my finances. I found that it was not working hard. I mean, I just work hard because I enjoy working hard. But I'm working with leverage. It's different. The way I work now at 59 is completely different from the work I was doing when I was in my 30s and in my 40s. What the top 1% do, they build once and they get paid forever. And I don't have to become a millionaire in dollars or a billionaire to practice this, because I'm actually doing it. It's a book I wrote in 2008. It was a physical copy. When digital marketing now came up, e-commerce, I converted that book, in fact, not just one book, actually 3 of them. I converted those 3 books that I wrote 2008. I think one was 2010. And then the other one around 2010 or 2009. I wrote it once. I converted them to ebooks. And I'm hosting them online. And every day, I'm sleeping, or I'm working, or I'm having a conference, I'm in the bathroom, doing number 1 or doing number 2. And then, while I'm sitting there, I hear ka-ching. That's ka-ching for cash register. But there's this tone that the phone makes when an alert comes in. And guess what? It's the book I wrote in 2008. So rich people build once and they earn forever. That is what you should be looking for, not killing yourself. Waking up every day going to work at 50 something is not sustainable. So you have to think about something to build once and earn forever. Chinua Achebe, that legendary writer, African writer, who wrote Things Fall Apart. I don't know how many of you know Things Fall Apart. But Things Fall Apart, when he was alive, took him literally around the world. He had appointments, book appointments in Japan. He had in Germany. He had in the UK. He had in Harvard. Some of you who know Chinua Achebe can confirm what I'm telling you. He had in Australia. One book which that guy wrote in 1958 when he was 26 years old. He wrote it at 26 years old. And up until when he died, I don't remember when he died. Somebody can quickly look it up and type in the comment section. The man was earning. One book took him around the world. Many people, both Africans and non-Africans, swear by Things Fall Apart. It's just such a wonderful read. People everywhere love it. I do not know something about that, but that book is fantastic. Non-English speakers love it. Japanese love it. Germans love it. Spanish people love it. Americans love it. Europeans love it. All over Africa, everybody loves Things Fall Apart. That guy wrote that book when he was 26 years old. Chinua Achebe is dead. Okay, so someone said in the comment section he died 2013. Yeah, he also wrote No Longer Artist, but nobody remembers No Longer Artist, but we read it in my secondary school. One book. Did you know that even though the man died 22 years ago, 12 years ago, he's still earning money from Things Fall Apart for his family? Did you know that Michael Jackson still earns millions, tens of millions of dollars every year, even though he's dead? Did you know that Bob Marley died 1981 or 1982? He still earns money from songs that he made in the 1960s and 70s. He made it once, and he not only earned all the time, but even the family that he left behind continued earning from it. That's the sort of thing I want to do for my family for generations to come. Many of you do not know the name of your grandfather. Just grandfather. Do you know why? Because the man left nothing for you. But if you had left some serious inheritance, you're always getting money every quarter from grandpa. You can't forget Grandpa Henry. How bad? You will have his picture everywhere, but you don't remember. So why don't you be the Grandpa Henry that will leave something? You know, King Solomon said that a good man leaves inheritance for his children's children. So that is the secret of the top 1%. They build once, and then they get paid forever. So if you can give Netflix 3 hours, you can give your future 1 hour to create something that you can do forever. Okay, you know what we're going to do now? Let's go straight into the system. I've called it SEED. S-E-E-D. You can type it in the comment section, SEED. All right. Before I go on, I think there are a couple of comments here, so let me read them. So Jennifer says, I did Things Fall Apart and no longer artist. Yeah, Daniel says, working 3 jobs but still poor. It's not in hard work, but in leverage. Absolutely. Absolutely. There are people working 3 jobs and they're still poor. Yeah, BJ Heaven, yeah, build once and get paid forever. That should be everybody's motto. That should be your strategy. If you sleep and pray about it and ask the Holy Spirit to give you an idea that you can build once and then end forever, you will be amazed. For many of you who are working 3 jobs, stressing, not spending time with your spouses, not spending time with your children, but every time work. At the end of it, there's even nothing to show for it. You need to make this your motto and ask yourself, what is it I can build once and get paid forever. Because until you do that, you cannot free your time. And so you continue running, putting in more work, and you're putting in more work and becoming poorer. Who designed this system? The system is a scam. All right, so let's look at the seed. How to plant this whole concept in your life, because wealth isn't built with more effort, like I've showed you. It's built with systems. It's built with less randomness. So let me introduce you to the seed system. Seed, the first S stands for solve a pain you've already overcome. Yeah, you can type it so that you can remember that. S stands for solve a pain you've already overcome. I'm distracted by the comment because somebody made a comment that is so funny. Samuel says, I'm a capital omnivore. I don't know whether that's even more terrible than capital cannibal. Okay, omnivore, whether it comes in the form of grass or it comes in the form of meat, however the money comes, you just consume it. So, all right, don't worry. We are going to deal with that. All right. So solve a pain you've already overcome. I'm giving you that leverage now so that you can quit working yourself to death. Okay. Now, how does this work? Don't look for a new talent. Look at your old wounds. That's where the gold is. And I just summarized my story. So don't look for new talent. Look for where the old wounds, your old wounds are. That's where the gold is. So some of you doing your 9 to 5, working 3 jobs, I think you need to pause. Take a day off. Take a weekend off somewhere and go through this seed framework I'm teaching you. Sit down with yourself and then ask yourself, what were those old wounds? Things you've already overcome. There's more money in the problems you've already solved or you've already overcome than in your 9 to 5. And I want to show you how. Okay, so solve a pain you've already overcome. So you can ask yourself, for instance, what tasks do co-workers always ask you help with? What is one pain, one wound you've gone through in your life and overcome? You probably went through a very bitter divorce and then you overcame and you have peace. You don't have bitterness in your heart. Do you know how many millions of men and women can benefit from what you have overcome? Maybe like me, you've overcome horrible financial reversal. I had a terrible financial reversal in my life. So that's why many of you connect with me, because you can confirm that when you listen to me, there's something about it that attracts you to what I say, because it feels very authentic. It's coming from, from a healed wound. It's coming from a place of pain. I can describe it for you easily because I've been there. I've been in a situation where I couldn't pay rent. I was evicted. And I had to squat with my family. Do you know the humiliation? If not that my wife is the wonderful person that she is, do you know the kind of humiliation that it is that a man feels that you can't even put a roof over the head of your wife? That's terrible. I went through it. But my wife was so gracious and we went through it together. I have been through situations where I couldn't pay my children's school fee and the school drove them away. One of my children stayed almost 1 year at home because I couldn't pay school fee. The other one stayed a whole term at home with us because the school drove him out and said, you haven't paid school fees, so stay out. Man! So do you see how I'm able to help literally hundreds of thousands of people around the world because you're listening to my story? And then it feels healing. It's amazing how many times people come to me. I teach them about money. And then they use the word healing. Somebody sent a very touching message to me. Not one person, not two people. And he said, Mr. Obo, I don't know how to thank you. I watch your YouTube videos. You do not know how many people you're healing. She said, you're healing me. What I set out there doing was not to heal anybody. But you see, people are feeling healing. So it was the same healing that I had from my pain that is going all over the world, healing millions of people. And then there are many more millions of people that are going to be healed. And guess what? I'm also being paid. I'm being rewarded. I'm being rewarded, sharing my pain so you can make money. Helping people genuinely. And they are happy. Because when you help people, they are happy to pay you to support what you're doing. That's why I have the Financial Fitness Challenge. And people are gracious to want to hear my story and to ask me to help them to overcome what I also overcame. And I'm doing that. I'm trading stocks. I'm showing you everything openly, how I'm trading. I'm even telling you what I'm buying. I'm telling you my cash, special cash system to go from capital accumulation all the way to legacy. And then I'm at the point now that I'm planning my estate. And I'm learning a lot about writing a will, building trust, and all those things. And as soon as I finish learning, I'm going to pass it on to you. I have been in a place where I escaped a plane crash exactly 2012, exactly 13 years ago. Yesterday would have been my 13th memorial that I was dead. It's not a problem, you know. I don't fear death. But the problem was, if I had died that day, I would have left my wife and children in very terrible situation. I wasn't ready to die. I'm not afraid of death. And so nobody here should die without putting something down for the next generation, people you care for. Even if they don't deserve, it's not about them, it's about you. At least let it be on record that in your spirit, you lived well, you did what you're supposed to do. And then you left your family, you left your place better than you met it. Okay, so there's money in your pain. By helping other people heal from it, these people will be happy to exchange the help you're giving them with money. And then you can escape your 9 to 5. All right, so let's do an exercise to make this practical. You know, I like this in being practical. I want every one of you to tell me in the chat session, what pain have you overcome that you can turn into a program, that you can turn into a system to help other people overcome the same pain. Type it. Be very specific. What did you overcome? It could be divorce. It could be fire, disaster. It could be a war. It could be whatever it is. It could be domestic abuse, whatever. Type it. What have you escaped? What pain have you personally overcome that you can help other people? Forget about the money now. If you help people overcome the pain that you've had, the money is almost automatic. Okay, so let's take a few ideas so that we can also learn from each other. So I would like us also to look at the chat session as we share. All right, so Maria has gone through divorce. Amazing. And Semoji has gone through drug addiction and alcoholism. Absolutely. Can you see? Just look at the chat session. See what people have gone through and overcome that they can teach. Augustine has gone through a bad investment that led me to a bad debt. Think about that. All my family's savings of over $100,000, 2007, I lost everything investing in Nospetco and Well Zone. Everything. That was also what launched us into that terrible thing. You know, coming out of it. That's a big story. What else have you overcome? Stella says she's overcome being jobless. And it will amaze you the hundreds of millions of people in the world today who are jobless, Stella, that would want to know, that would want you to teach them a system, to write a mini course that you can monetize, that can help them. Because you see, someone who has overcome a problem always helps other people better than anybody who hasn't overcome, I see some 17, 18-year-old children calling themselves marriage counselors. I even did it myself. So, and I see some 21-year-olds life coach. You can be life coach at 21, and then you're asking people 59 years, to come and do life coaching. You are 19. You are not married. You are doing marriage counseling. You can do all the theory and whatever, but it's different if somebody who has been married for 30 years, this year is my 30th year in marriage. So at 19 years, you are married, you are doing marriage counseling, you can say a full paragraph to try to help people. But me, I've been married 30 years. I will say one word and it will clean up whatever marriage problems that people are having. But you can talk for 24 hours, you won't solve any problem. You'll be saying all the nice things that you read in textbooks or that you think in your head. But it is not like somebody who has gone through something trying to teach and help others. So, interesting. Okay, and Tanifu Bliss has gone through bad investment and scam that took so much money. All right, everything and more with Rose says an uncomfortable generalized skin rash. Talking about the skin rash, Rose, is interesting because I saw a young woman on TikTok or Instagram. She's a multi-millionaire in dollars. I was listening to her story. So she had this strange skin rash. All dermatologists have looked at it. She's taken all kinds of medications. It never worked. And then she did something. She concocted something that worked for her. And now she's making money from all over the world. And people are getting results in that. So very interesting. Okay, so let's take a few more. Mick Daddy has had losses, okay, from forex trading. Victoria has gone through heavy debt. Okay, there John has gone through depression, failing in medical college. I'm seeing money everywhere here. I'm seeing money. If only you can help people. All right, Green Drive Sky says 2 years joblessness with 2 kids out of school. Whoa. And then Mrs. George says a painful divorce. And you can imagine how many millions of people would like to hear your story and how you went through it. Same OG overcame being overweight. Ayola Bolaji says I overcame power problem. So I've established a solar energy company. Fantastic. Okay. Daniel talked about the cost of wrong relationships. John talks about losing all I have, including pension benefits to bad investment. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. And then Dynamite says I became disciplined to working out daily. Fantastic. You all have money. You all have money. You are giving pain to help others. And as you are helping people, they are very, very encouraged to give you money. You can write a book. You can write a course. You can start a small group helping women who went through painful divorce, helping men who are grappling, with betrayal in marriage. Okay, so make this note. Your struggle is someone's shortcut. So don't look at all these experiences as wasted. Don't feel guilt. Don't feel condemned because the God we serve is not the one. He's not like a human being. He's not condemning you. There's love, overwhelming love. God stretching his heart, his hands to you to heal you, to help you, to bring you back to him and to support you. He's not looking for opportunity to hurt you. No. There's love and his love heals. And so if you can take the same healing to help other people, that's wonderful. So your struggle is someone's shortcut. Type it in the comment section. My struggle is someone else's shortcut. And so you've struggled through it. Make it a shortcut for other people. So that why should they have to go through the same thing that you went through? So you give them a shortcut. The market doesn't pay for skills. It pays for solutions. And you already have solutions from the pain that you had. Okay. Shall we continue? We're already 9 on the hour. Shall we continue? If you want us to do that, just type continue in the comment section. We've done S of the EED. I think we should finish it tonight. Okay, so just hang on. Let's continue. Okay, so so letter E stands for extract the process. So type it, extract the process. Now, extract the process of you coming out of debt. Extract the process of you coming out of depression from failing in medical school. Extract the process of you being jobless for a long time and then all of a sudden finding yourself employed. Extract the process. You already have it. You just need to extract it and then make it teachable. Please listen very closely to what I just said. Those two things, those two instructions. Extract it, that's number one. Make it teachable, that's number two. So it's not enough extracting it. You also need to make it teachable. You've got to make it teachable, digestible. That's what I'm doing. That's why you're here listening to me tonight. Because August of 2024, I said to myself that if I had 1,000 days to live and I have to teach the world some valuable lessons, what would it be? That's a question I need you to ask because your money is hidden in it. So I found out that through the things I have gone through, that there are 3 things I can teach the world. Number 1 is financial independence, that it is attainable. I want to teach the world that it is attainable. It doesn't matter whether you live in where they call the poorest country in the world, whether you are in South Sudan or Nigeria or Ghana or Haiti or wherever, Fiji Island, it doesn't matter where you are born. That's one thing I want to teach the world, because the system has calmed us to start thinking that you must be born in a certain place. You must be born by certain kinds of parents, born in certain countries to be rich. Who told you? Every one of us was born rich. That's number 1. Number 2, I can teach businesses to scale. I have learned, and then I've been so blessed working with Stanford University, the Stanford Graduate School of Business for 6 years in the Stanford Seed program. Stanford, if you get a chance to go to Stanford Business School, please don't hesitate, go. Go. It's so practical, the way they do things there, because I'm not a school kind of person, because the school system, unfortunately, forgive me for saying it bluntly, is a scam. Because how can people go through school? You send your child to school, 20-something years, you're paying school fees, and the child comes out at 23 years or 25 years, graduates, and at 35, that child still hasn't found his feet. At 35, he's still looking for employment. At 40, he can't marry because he hasn't found his feet. So what was school supposed to be? But Stanford Graduate School of Business is different. They are very practical. So I can teach people the same Silicon Valley secrets to scale your business. That's number 2. Number 3, marriage. Because I discovered that one of the biggest things under attack in the past couple of decades is marriage. Today, young people get married on Saturday. Within 2 weeks, literally within 2 weeks, they're already talking about divorce. So I thought these were 3 things I can teach the world. So ask yourself that question. If there's one thing that you, and only you, can teach the world, what would that thing be? So you're already doing it. Make it teachable. If it works for you, it can work for someone else at a price. If it can work for you, it can work for someone else at a price. So don't just create content, create clarity for people like I'm doing. So this is actually part of the 1,000 days thing. I said, all right, let me teach the world this. These are the things I've learned, the things I've overcome, because being married for 30 years, yeah, I can teach the world how to do that. Becoming financially independent, I can teach the world how to do that in a way that no one else alive can do. So that's what I'm doing. And then I started doing it free, like I'm doing it, because that's another thing you can do. Start teaching it for free. Start teaching it for free. Build your personal brand. And then when you build trust and credibility in the market, then you can easily monetize. When you ask people to give you money, they will, because you've already saturated the whole place with so much value. And that's what's happening to me. People are paying to join the financial fitness challenge because I've saturated the whole place with value. Many of you in the challenge, you join because, like some of you say, I've been binging on your YouTube video, giving value like this for free. This is what I'm paid. I'm paid $10,000 by companies a weekend to come and lead retreat. From $10,000 to lead a weekend retreat for them, $5,000 a day. And these are the sort of things I do for them, but you are getting it free. And also, as I'm teaching what I have learned and teaching my processes, I'm also growing and getting better. And then this video is part of what I told you earlier. Create it, build it once, and then let it pay you forever. This video will still be here in another 50 years. How many of you have seen videos from the 1960s, all of ads from the 1950s when, black and white? How many of you have seen those things showing up in TikTok? The videos don't die. And that is why in the current class of the Financial Fitness Challenge, we are going to take sessions to teach everybody to start a YouTube content, even if it's not for money, for posterity. Teach the world what you know. Many of you know Miles Monroe, great teacher, great man. Every single day, his videos pop up on my feed, and I can never have enough of that man. He died long time ago, and then one of his videos people were watching on YouTube, and I was looking at the comments, and then somebody said, oh, where is this man's institution, his church or something, that I would like to attend. I would like to attend this conference to listen to him. Just recently, another person said, oh no, you're late, the man died. I don't know how many years ago, maybe like almost 10 years ago. He's dead. That person in the comment section screamed, dead, I'm just getting to know him, I thought he's alive. That's what this sort of thing does for you. So extract the process, teach it, saturate YouTube, TikTok with a subject. Don't go around forwarding stupid jokes, all those things, and then freighting and forwarding videos. Teach your content. Teach people something valuable. By the time you do it consistently for 1 year, your money will start coming almost automatically. So be known for something that you've overcome, that you can teach the world. So don't create content, create clarity. Okay, so that is the first E. Extract the process. The second E is engineer delivery once. Engineer delivery. How does this work? This is where the leverage that I was talking about becomes really visible, because you stop showing up for every dollar. You build once and then earn it often. So you can use platforms like I use Seller for African creators. Seller is a bit more accessible than some of these other programs abroad, because up till now, I don't know how many African countries can take payments from PayPal. They can take our money, but they don't let us earn. So Seller allows you to take payments from different countries if you're an African creator. You can also use WhatsApp. So package it into a class, into a program, into a coaching group, package it into a coaching offer, package it into PDF. This thing is doable. If you can stop Netflix for 1 week and use it to implement this seed framework I'm giving you, you will shock yourself. You're going to create it once. 1 weekend you create it and launch it, and that thing will continue to make money for you. Okay? All right, someone just subscribed as a member. AB Dyke, thank you very much. Thank you. And then the other day somebody gave a gift. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, you see what we're talking about? Some people are delivering value. I have had very interesting incidents where somebody just sends me a message, just a DM, and says, Mr. Obo, please send me your account number. You don't know what you've done for me. Stranger, I've not met that lady. She lives in Ireland. She just say, send me your account number. I need to do something for you and all that. You've been a blessing to me, and I don't know who she is. Well, I didn't want to be proud, so I just sent my whatever, and she wired money into that place. She's not the first person to do it since she did it, and that was strange. And then I meet people who send me a message. They say, please send me, please, I would like to send you airtime. So people are buying me airtime. Somebody bought me 10K airtime. Somebody bought me 20K airtime. People are sending me airtime just from watching the things that I'm sharing for free. I didn't ask them. I didn't beg anybody. So this is practical what I'm talking about. And I've met people who do things for me. People just do things. They're just so helpful because I am giving them value. You can do the same thing. So package it. Don't wait until it is pretty. That's another big problem that many of us have. We wait until it is perfect. We wait until it looks like a Alex Hormozy zone. We wait until it looks like a Harvard product before we launch it. Big mistake. And many of you created videos and then you're waiting until it's very perfect before you upload your first video. Stop it. Upload it. And then somebody told me today he wants to go on YouTube and he knows a lot. This guy has mentored me in e-commerce. He knows a lot. And today he was saying that he wants to do what I'm doing on YouTube, but that he's very, very camera shy. He doesn't want to show his face and things like that and all that. But he has videos. But the thing is, okay, what equipment? I said, forget equipment. Put that video there. Stop going for quality. Go for quantity. When you are doing this sort of thing, I didn't start seeing any traction on my YouTube until after almost 600 videos. I had 600 videos and I was getting 8 views, 9 views, 100 views, 200 views, 300 views. I do this thing I'm doing and then 2 views. I have videos that I made in 2009. They are there in YouTube that have 11 views since 2009, 2010. But did I stop? No. Nope. And I didn't start seeing massive results until after 600 and something videos. All of a sudden, one video, just took one video, and that video went from, so my views went from like 70 something views overnight to 100 and maybe like 150,000 views. So don't wait until it is perfect before you launch it. Launch it. Quantity, keep putting out there because you don't know. Like they say in my village, the birds flying overhead, you don't know which of them has eggs in his stomach. You don't know which content will do it. So put it out there. Teach the world. Don't worry about views. Focus on value, on delivering value. And you never can tell. Something happens and then everything goes loose. Okay. All right, I see a couple of questions here, and then somebody has actually somebody has answered it. So Susan asked, "What is seller?" It's not SELLER. It's actually SELAR or something like that. Okay, and then Mick Daddy has answered that. Yes, it's a platform. It's a platform, like Facebook Marketplace, where you can sell courses and do things. Tanifum says, I must impact my world. I will not just create content, but clarity. Absolutely fabulous. Okay, so you can do it after hours. You don't need a team. You don't need stress. Just use AI and free tools. And if you haven't watched my video where I told you 15 ways you can make money every single day with AI, please go look for that video. Wealth is when your work works without you. I want to redefine wealth. Type it. Wealth is when your work works without you. If you must be there before you make money, you are not wealthy. Okay? If you only get paid when you show up, your ceiling is permanent. You can take that to the bank. If you only get paid when you show up, your ceiling is a permanent ceiling. All right, so D, the last D is distribute consistently. You've packaged the value, you've engineered it, so the next thing is to distribute consistently. So even the best system dies in silence. Your job now is to let the world know. Let the world know. Post weekly content, YouTube Shorts, LinkedIn, WhatsApp. You can't escape these things. In 2025, you can't escape it. There's no more hiding. You can't even hide. So you might as well come out and make money. Many of us have been hiding. Many of us are totally non-existent on the internet. No footprint anywhere. Today I saw somebody who has a Facebook account that last time she posted something was like 2007. You know, this is not for you today. If you're afraid or ashamed or embarrassed to show your face or to let your voice be heard on social media, you're going to be poor because everything has moved online. The market is there, so you'd better move all your stuff there as well. All right, so post weekly content, build a wait list, then develop something that we call lead magnet. That's offer something free. Tell your story, let people get to know. Continue to repeat it. Repetition beats perfection. So I repeat certain things that sometimes, I just wonder, oh my goodness, am I not repeating so much? And then somebody now watches it and the person is hearing it for the first time. So repeat it. At some point, somebody said, well, you left Shell. When was it? I said, when? He said, that you tell it like you just left yesterday. I said, because there are people who didn't hear it 20 years ago that were born just 10 years ago that need to hear it. So repetition beats perfection. So you can schedule your posts. All right, so make a note of this. Obscurity is more expensive than failure. Make a note of that. Obscurity is more expensive than failure. Don't wait to be discovered. Instead, be impossible to ignore. If you really want to make money and to break through that income barrier, don't wait to be discovered. Instead, make yourself impossible to ignore. There are people that are impossible to ignore. Make yourself that person, impossible to ignore. All right. So let me recap. If you're earning under $100,000, it's not your fault, but after tonight, it is your move, entirely your move. And then you don't need labor, you don't need to work harder, especially if you're over 40. Because over 40, the harder you work, the poorer you become. The harder you work. You can call it Obo's economic law or something, but it happened in my life and I see it around. The hardest working people are people over 40, between 40 and 65. They work so hard, and then they work so hard and they're becoming poor, all right? What tool can you use is called SEED. So the first S stands for solve a pain you have already overcome. E stands for extract the process. And the second E stands for engineer delivery once. And then the D stands for distribute consistently. And then your opportunity, even 1 hour a day is enough. Many of you are running around too much. Many of you live in your churches. You are there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Let me just give you the news. God didn't send you. God didn't send you. You weren't created to live in the church 7 days a week. And then you are there. You belong to every single activity in church. And you are wondering why your finances are suffering. Why won't it suffer? Okay? So find time. Create that time. 1 hour a day. 2 hours in the weekend. 3 hours here and there. Cut Netflix. Build this thing so that you can build it once. And then earn perpetually from it. So your paycheck should fund your platform, not your prison. But many of us are using paycheck to fund our prison. So don't just work your job. Let your job finance your freedom. Okay. So if at this stage you haven't loved this and shared it, take a minute to do that. And then if you haven't hit the love button after all this value tonight, what are you waiting for? Love it. The algorithm loves it. And then if you have not subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? So subscribe and then share it. Share it as much. Share with your friends. Share with your family. Let them listen. Thank you. Some of you have told me that you're sharing. And people are listening and changing. The more of us become wealthy, the less dependent people are on you. But now, if you don't share and people don't, and you make money, then you have all these relations, you have all these friends and all these colleagues. You can't say no to them. They will eat up the money. So please share. Then finally, there are one of two things you can do with this information. You can take all this information and implement it. Do it yourself. It is totally possible because I've laid it out very nicely. Or you might be in the group, especially 40 to 65 or even 70, because in the group right now, the oldest person in the financial fitness mentorship group is 76. She is going to be 77 in November. What did you think a 76-year-old woman saw in what we do to make her join the financial fitness challenge? So if you are in that category that say, Ogbo, I do not have the time. I need you to handhold me. I don't have time to do it myself. Of course, if you're in your 20s or 30s and all that, early 30s, you can do this by yourself. I encourage you to actually do. But you've come to a point, you say, no, I don't have time to do this by myself. I need you to handhold and guide me. The financial fitness challenge is for you. So it's my paid mentorship group. It is $125 in USD or 125,000 Nigerian Naira. It is not free. It's the paid group. I've just given you the free part. Now, if you take action today, and I'm going to tell you how to sign up right now, you can do the early bird. The early bird is not $125. There's $20 off. You do $105 today or 105,000 Nigerian Naira. Instead of 125, you have 20,000 Naira totally off right now. All you need to do is send early bird payment. Just type early bird payment. Send me early bird payment details. Send it to this WhatsApp number +234 8088 000 111. Why it is important to send it to this number, to send your request saying send me early bird payment details to this number, is because in the past couple of months, so many people have been faking me in all kinds of places. So many people have been faking my account. I have on TikTok, at least we've seen 6 fake accounts using my name. On Facebook, I don't know how many fake accounts, all using my name, swindling people, chatting people on WhatsApp, and then asking them to pay the money to that they will help them to become rich in stocks and things like that. So, but I know that if you send it to this particular WhatsApp number, it's coming to me, and my team is going nowhere. It's coming to me. So all those fake people, don't send to any WhatsApp number that is not the one I've given you. So say, send me early bird payment details to +234 8088 000 111. And then you can get started. You can join in the next 10 minutes. So if you do that quickly, before I retire to bed, I will send you that. Okay. What was your aha moment today? What was one aha moment? So, that's our ritual. Let's do that before we all say good night, good morning, good afternoon to wherever you are joining from. What was your one aha moment today? Type it in the comment section. Quickly, I will read it out. What was your aha moment? What made your day today? Okay. All right. Okay. Green Drive Sky. Awesome. Yeah, your message is sent. I'm sure you're going to get a response very, very quickly. All right. So write your aha moment. I will still see it even when the video live has gone. Lady Oben says, can I know that university from India for business you just mentioned? Is there any online schooling? No. It's not in India, Lady Lydia. It's in America. It's in California. So I talked about Stanford University. I worked with them. Okay. Samuel G says, aha moment is build once, get paid forever. That should be your motto. That should be everybody's motto. Build. What is it you can build once and get paid forever? All right. Okay. Stella says, my aha moment is that my struggle is someone else's shortcut. Absolutely. That's a beautiful aha moment. My struggle is someone's shortcut. Augustine's aha moment, solve a pain for someone else that you've already overcome. And I think, Augustine, with your aha moment, that will be a very excellent juncture to say good night to everyone. I'm going to see you this same time tomorrow, 8 p.m. GMT plus 1 tomorrow for another very value-packed session. And as always, keep showing up. Regardless of what you're going through, keep showing up because you never know what's coming your way next. I love you all. You have a good evening.